Dear Lord, law enforcement is not an easy task to do, yet there are many who choose to wear the shield. They serve each day to the oaths they swore are true, protecting and serving a safer, better world to build.
Lord, now we gather to pay our deepest honor to those of our officers killed in the line of duty. It matters not the style of the shield they wore, only that they served with pride and honor.
Lord, all that matters is that they were one of us, serving wherever needed, richest mansion to dirtiest alley, confident and proud, highly honored by the people's trust, so they carried a shield, mindful of all their sacred duties.
Lord, you have called several of ours home to glory. The race with life for them is now done. Peace, blessed peace, in safety, forever now with thee. Welcome rest, now in heaven for all of eternity.
May time never erase the sacrifices that were made. May no officer ever fall alone to lie cold in their grave. May those of us still serving remember well the price they paid. May their memories stand forever as those who went down brave.
Lord, give us a courage to carry on, to still live and care, to not be vengeful or bitter, to simply trust your word it true. May we always cover with pride the shield we wear, to honor all fallen officers whom we now commend to you.
Officer Verl C. Winry joined the Anoka Police Department on May 1st, 1946. He died in the line of duty January 18th, 1947. He was directing traffic at the scene of a serious traffic accident at the intersection of Highway 10 and 7th Avenue, now known as 7th Avenue and East River Road. While directing traffic, he was struck by a vehicle that slid on a patch of ice and lost control. He was first taken to the Anoka Hospital and then to St. Andrew's Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries at 4 a.m. The men and women of the Anoka Police Department will never forget his sacrifice.
Deputy Ernest Zettergren was shot and killed on December 7, 1953, when he interrupted a burglary at a local tavern. He had noticed that a window was broken out at the business and pulled up behind a car that was parked in front of it. He was able to radio the license plate when the suspect came out and approached the car. Deputy Zettergren had his weapon drawn as he asked where the male had come from, but the man fired first, hitting Deputy Zettergren twice in the head. After shooting our deputy, the man took Deputy Zettergren's weapon and clipboard and fled the scene. He stopped once to try and wash the blood off of his hands in the snow, and he threw both guns, the clipboard, and his blood-stained jacket away as he drove into Minneapolis. Deputy Zettergren's body was found around 7:30 a.m. by two boys on their newspaper route. The man was later arrested and confessed. He was subsequently sentenced to life in prison. Deputy Zettergren was survived by his wife and 6 children.
Chief Bowe was shot and killed on June 10, 1967, after responding to a party in a field. When he and the other officer arrived, they heard either gunshots or firecrackers and then told all of the teenagers to get into their cars. 2 of the teenagers ran into the woods and Chief Bowe followed. Chief Bowe went into the woods where he thought he saw a lit cigarette. Again, he told the teenagers to come out and go to their cars. Instead, shots rang out senselessly. Chief Bowe was shot in the chest and abdomen at close range. The suspects, 2 teen brothers with handguns, fled but were located within hours by investigating deputies. Both had also received gunshot wounds. They were treated and then charged. Chief Bowe worked only part-time as chief of police for only $100 per month. He was survived by his wife and 2 children. His daughter would follow in his footsteps, joining the ranks of the Anoka Police Department and then the Anoka County Sheriff's Office as a detective.
Officer Ramsdell was shot and killed on July 30th, 1977, while transporting a prisoner. He and another officer had arrested a DUI driver and his passenger for disorderly conduct. The driver and passenger were both well known to Officer Ramsdell, as the passenger was a nephew of another officer. While Officer Ramsdell and Officer Capallo arrived at the Anoka County Jail with the two, the passenger, who had been arrested for disorderly conduct, retrieved a .25 caliber pistol from his back pocket. With his hands behind his back, he was able to shoot Officer Ramsdell in the abdomen. An Anoka County detention deputy was also shot and wounded as he ran to the scene to help. After the suspect was taken under control, Officer Ramsdell was transported to Mercy Hospital, where he succumbed to his wounds.
During the early morning hours on Saturday, August 9, 1986, Richard Legler and fellow detention deputy Anthony Hesh were on their way to work at the Anoka County Jail. An unknown, dark-colored compact car pulled alongside Detention Deputy Legler's vehicle, and a shot was fired. The shot fired from the fleeing car entered Detention Deputy Legler's driver's side window and struck him in the left arm. Deputy Legler struggled to pull the vehicle over to the right side of the road. The round struck his left arm just behind his uniform patch and ultimately also pierced his left lung. The suspect was later found deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It is believed that the suspect may have seen the jail uniforms worn by Legler and Hesh. Seeing the uniformed men could have triggered the shooting, as no other cars had been reported shot at that morning. At the time of his death, Detention Deputy Richard Legler was 38 years old and worked for the Anoka County Sheriff's Office for approximately 3 years. He was survived by his parents, his sister, and brother-in-law.
Corporal Beau worked his last shift on Saturday, June 7, 1997, when he was killed while responding, assisting county deputies with a shooting call. He and 3 deputies parked their cruisers and walked approximately 3/4 of a mile into the secluded house, where they spotted a car with the suspect lying across the front seat with his feet hanging out. As Corporal Beau and the deputies were approaching their vehicle, the suspect sat up, began firing, striking Corporal Beau in the chin from about 35 yards away. Regrettably, he died that morning at about 2 a.m., approximately 1 hour after the shooting. The 3 other deputies with him returned fire, and an autopsy later revealed that the man who shot and killed Corporal Beau took his own life. Corporal Beau had been with the Minnesota State Patrol for 15 years, serving in a variety of positions, including on our special response team. At the time, he was survived by his wife, 6-year-old daughter, and 9-month-old son. Corporal Beau is forever in the hearts and minds of every Minnesota State Trooper for his service and his sacrifice to our state.
On September 6, 2005, police officer Shawn SIlvera was struck and killed while deploying stop sticks on I-35W in an attempt to stop a vehicle being pursued by officers. The pursuit had started in Chisago County when officers attempted to serve a felony warrant on a wanted man from South Dakota. Officer SIlvera had just placed the stop sticks on the roadway when the driver of the vehicle swerved around them and struck Officer SIlvera. Officer SIlvera had positioned himself on the median of the highway. After striking Officer SIlvera, the vehicle continued into the northbound lanes and struck an oncoming vehicle. The suspect then attempted to flee on foot and was taken into custody. The man was charged with second-degree murder in connection with Officer SIlvera's death. He subsequently pleaded guilty and was sentenced to serve 42 years. The man died in prison on November 1st, 2017. Officer SIlvera had served with the Lino Lakes Police Department for 7 years. He is survived by his wife and 2 children.